Welcome back, everyone, to Disco Elysium. For real this time, we are examining the body. First, what exactly is a field autopsy? Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them. What you do know is that 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano Corpus Mundi is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38th single Et puis descend to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you do not know. Why don't you know? What use are you? You must have me confused with Cuppapedia. Who's the Cuppapedia? I think I need to talk to him. You, sir. You are the Cuppapedia. Do you have another pair of gloves? Unfortunately, no. I'll need a pair then. Can we return to this shortly? We've got some glove hunting to do. Let's not go glove hunting, please. Let's use division of labor. I perform the anatomical side, you take notes. We just fill this in, right? Show them the red field autopsy form in your ledger. That's right. Oh, good. I will need this. Trust me. I want that. Yoink. I'll get more perception later, but I want to have a lot of it. And noticing things is important. Open your ledger at the field autopsy form. The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists describing the conditions of his skin, organs, and 3 parts. Above those, an 11 field info form needs filling out first. It begins with 1. Assistant. Let's jump ahead to the 3-part summary. No. Assistant. That's you. Write the initials HDB. The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says, coroner's case number, KK570803.0815. KK, Kim Kitsuragi, 57, Precinct 57, followed by his date and the time of arrival, 8:15 on the scene. He indexed the case after himself, not you. Shouldn't we file the coroner's case under me, technically? I arrived at the scene before you. And what would that make the alphanumeric? HDB 410803. Tell me out with the time of day, anyone? Let's say 1300. Good time to start drinking. 1111. It's meaningful. I'm gonna trust my Inland Empire on this one. Good. Let's go with that. The lieutenant is quite surprised you managed to come up with an adequate case number. Name? Not available. Date of birth? Not available. Age? The man is roughly 50? Try 40. The damage is so extensive, better to err on the young side. I'm gonna write about 42. He nods. Race. Mondial. Fair to olive-skinned from the isola of Mundi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well try to say whitish. The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything else. Sex. Fucky! The little monster exclaims energetically. Male. Pig's gonna have sex? Right. Male. Nor does he look male with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face. Date of death? Still going with March 4th, 51st. Got it. What else? He looks over your shoulder. Body identified by is not applicable. Case number is the same as the coroner's case. Evidence of treatment. None, at least not after the initial examination. What is treatment? Interfering with the body's position of wounds post-mortem. I'm not so sure. Places his gloved hand on the corpse's chest as if in preparation. Your central nervous system recognizes the gestures, the stations of the breath, ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-Delorian burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform, and then we should start the postmortem. The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with his surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why. External examination summary. Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The makes of the briefs is Babardine, I think? Let's see. See, it's happening! Babardine, yes. Inexpensive, size M, color white. The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid. Write it down. The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing. It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire, if you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to. You have deserved them more than anyone else. Write it down. I'm not gonna steal the man's armored boots. I only need a couple pieces. The boot has a serial number, E5010010000. The lines between the plates are in the shape of alphanumerical. The number is purposely concealed by design. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings to be added to the case file as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot, color yellow, length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. He produces a measuring tape. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.80 meters. Generally consistent with age 42, preservation is good, ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown, distribution is consistent with age. The deceased man has male pattern baldness, hair is compact, short. Touch the corpse's hair before moving on. His hair feels wet, soaked with rain, cold to touch. Not that different from a living person after a swim. Stroke his hair. The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to your hand like thread off a rag doll's head. There's brillatine in there. He's combed his hair back with oil. Write down, short, light, brown. Write it down, adding the brillatine. Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present in the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stone's throws, post-mortem, low velocity. Fucking low velocity, chink chonk! You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking maximum! Talking shit about Kuno's velocity. In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Write it down. I'm not including high predation. If you want me to include maximum velocity, don't call Kim a chink chonk, you piece of shit. Ligature mark. The lieutenant produces a small folding knife with the other hand pulling on the belt. He starts cutting it with polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut. The steel wiring, there's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark. You've got the right tool for that. Good thing we got these chain cutters. Always good to think ahead. We need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with precision as you can. See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off. I'm gonna look for a good spot to cut. Shit, I'm not wearing my physical instrument t-shirt. The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edge like white bread rising from yeast. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts, and she'll cut loose. Yeah, thank you, interfacing. You see? That's why I feel good about it. If I hadn't put those 2 points in interfacing, I wouldn't know. But there's always a chance for failure. Yes! Fuck! You jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Oh, fuckity fuck. Lieutenant looks by, somewhat worried as you summon power words to your aid. Rotate some more. Really, really bad smells coming from there. Some kind of cracking sound. Enough. Cut. Yeah, fuck him! I should have a go before I think I have a strategy. Let him work. That's much better form than you had. Snap! The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it. Here. Hey, I did my best. But it's important for us to trust Kim. He can do things that we can't, especially if we fail. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension points the back of the neck on the nave. As it ought to, this is where its grip on the curdled meat is the gentlest, pulling up. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop of 1, 2, or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia. Now! It's gonna happen, see? I fucking knew it. This is clearly what they've been waiting for ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible. Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Write it down and move on. Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. Bullets have bitten little pieces out of him. It must have been excruciating. Especially that hip wound. Before you is a temple of pain that knew little tenderness in life. In addition, I see smaller residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin. From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades. Dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty. Last item, hands. He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, and then moves on to the other. Pick up the hand. His flesh is cold, icy. Pleased to meet you. Where are you from and what's your name? My name is... I'm only fucking with you. I know where you're from Cappadocia. Your name is Il Cabo. What can I do for you, Il Cabo di Cappadocia? It's good to hold your hand. Did you like it when I stroked your hair? I did, Cabo. I did. Reminded me of when I was just a small boy, before this happened to my face and my body. You did me a kindness there. We should do this more often. Be close by, like this, I mean. Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling. Were we expecting any? I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, the stench is making it hard for me to think. Whoa. That's all for external. What's next? Internal examination. Let's go with the description of the injuries. Yes. Nope. Shit. Afraid we can't continue before we've gone through both external and internal. Well then, fine. Central nervous system, I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system? Of course. There is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story. If I may add the moral of this story, what would that be? The dead man looks too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story. The brain is very vulnerable to compromise in its blood supply. I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Alright, not available. Good. Musculoskeletal purge, fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related, eyes and tongues protuberant, hyoid bone. Let's see. With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it. Gently, a rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. Yeah, jack that fucker off! The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact, unremarkable. Back hunched as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. Respiratory system... He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in the mucus of the lips and mouth. Look inside the dead man's mouth. No screams, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness. Instead, it's humid there. Sickly sweet air unlike anything living. You feel like throwing up straight in that mouth. No, you don't. You can keep it in. You can keep anything in. Look deeper. You manage to suppress the contractions, trying to empty your stomach. All it takes is concentration. Through it, you see nothing but darkness, more meaty darkness. There are ancient mysteries down there, Cabo. Ask me later. As you wish, Inland Empire. And that's why I put points into Inland Empire. If only I had my tie. Unfortunately, I'm just too fucking clumsy. Write it down. Hepatobiliaria? Why, don't we have anything? He looks at the corpse's stomach. Are you a hepatobiliaria expert? I don't think so. Neither am I. And that's it? That's it. Not applicable. Same for toxicology. Both? Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there. The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do. Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything. Even if he was brimming with cocaine, but still you should add a request. Brimming with cocaine. Add toxicology requested. Cardiovascular, the body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with a hanging. Write it down. There's no ending quotation mark here, you fucks! That's fine. Gastrointestinal, he breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field in the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces there. This'll do. Then he touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen. Digested semi-solid food and stomach. Voila. Write it down, omit the voila. What's next on the list? Description of injuries. Now we've fully examined the bodies. Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one, too. What about the injuries we have afflicted? Oh, so we inflicted them? This is a team effort. You mean the incision on the thorax and the chain cutter? That was not a team effort, and I wouldn't mention it. Muddies the waters. Isn't that sloppy? Be pedantic if you like. It doesn't matter. No one else is going to investigate this man's murder. If they do, such details would only confuse them. See, these pigs are fucking corrupt! Why don't you fuck them if you love them so much? Now, injuries. Bite marks. Head, chest, and scalp bite marks injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer? Non-fatal. Postmortem. Agreed. Contusions. So the scalp bleeds from a postmortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have a rim of an early inflammatory response. A perpetrator of the scene has confessed to be causing it postmortem. At maximum velocity, fucko! He confessed to causing it at maximum velocity. Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description of the injury, 2 boxes. Non-fatal, postmortem. Ligature mark. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I saw hemorrhaging on the skin above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck. Below the notes, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. Opinion, fatal injury. That's it. We've established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned, but it's a start. Now let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy complete. How'd it go? Well, we established probable cause of death. Some would say that's the goal of an autopsy. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks if we're lucky. I would not hold my breath. What else? We were thorough with the list of injuries, too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy. Oh, yeah. Well done, Master Detective. Maybe a drink is in order. What now? I need a copy of that autopsy form, then I will drive it to Farburg. Rip out a copy of the autopsy pages. For processing. He looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again. He's thinking, did I miss something? Perception. Legendary. Fuck. Unfortunately, we established probable cause. Still, I have succeeded this perception check once before. Alas. You run your hands over the victim's cold body, his limbs, his torso, with its swollen organs. Maybe you should be more thorough. Look under his fingernails. His fingernails have turned dark. They're chipped and quite long. There's dirt under them. That's all. Do you think we missed something? You can't shake the feeling that there are more secrets concealed in the flesh before you. I've got a gut feeling there's something more to this corpse. Well, okay. We're in livor mortis here. He's disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body. If we want to conduct another examination, we need to do it fast. Okay. Where do we find a fridge for the body? It would have to be industrial in size. Let's start by asking Gart at the Whirling and Rags, and the Freet store owner down at the gates. If they don't know, Kuno, but only if all else fails. Fuck, you looking at me, ping pong man? You want a piece of the Kuno? You want to get fucked? Only if all else fails. Or remember, the button's at the intercom over there on the side of the building next to the Whirling. One was for Revachol Ice City. Perhaps it's a clue. Alright, let's hurry then. This one task we cannot sideline. With every hour, whatever we're looking for will become harder to find. Okay. Damn it, if I had been wearing my my macho tee, I'd have been able to figure that out. Also, now that our perception has improved, we can look at this fence. You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza. Why am I looking at this? Cop habit, you look at everything. This isn't case related, you think. What kind of vehicle drove through here? Hard to say. Your vision is blurred and you're having difficulty concentrating thanks to your relentless hangover. Let's try a visual calculus roll. Hey, papi! The tire tracks were left by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the Whirling and Rags. This is point A. The driver started there, then accelerated straight into the fence. Left a hole big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry, according to the cafeteria manager. The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before hitting the adjacent building. Before heading south. Must have been in a hurry. Huh. A car drove through the fence. You're correct. This is a rather motor carriage-friendly city. Somehow that makes you feel scared. I don't know why. Is this connected to the case? I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in Martinez. With the jam here and the roundabout, I would keep them separate. You could follow the track south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went if you find the time. Well, it's 2 p.m., so my time is theoretically limitless. Ooh, a blue oblong pen. It belongs to Kim Kitsuragi, and I'd better not waste it. Ooh, I could try to raise my perception, but still, it would only give me a marginal advantage. Yep. Oh, well, let me try this thing again. See if I can get in touch with Revachol Ice City. Nothing. Okay, well, let's talk to Gart and see if we can borrow an industrial-sized freezer. Just charge us rent for the corpse. Don't be a wimp, Gart. Yo, big man.
Can I help you?
Here's your trash container key. I found the victim's clothes. How strange, I certainly didn't put them there. Maybe you don't remember putting them there. Could someone on your staff have put them there? Who else has keys to the trash container? The Trash Coalition Services, CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though. Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threads that sells itself down the road. On Clinton Street, near the Boogie Street Diamond, a small truck rattles down an alleyway. It stops by a rusted trash container. Two men, their faces rough and swollen, jump out. They look at the container despondently. CSM is written on their backs. Thank you anyway. Could someone on your staff have put them in there? The Trash Collection Services? CS Municipal. Oh, no, wait. Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene. Thanks. I seem to be in need of a fridge. Yes, for the dead body. You want to put a dead corpse into my fridge. That's the gist of it. Well, I have a fridge, and you're not putting it there. Why? Because this is a culinary establishment, not a morgue. I can't believe you even asked me. It would only be for Lieutenant, you too? You're asking too? No, the answer is no. I will not turn this place into some kind of macabre circus. Let's go talk to the Freet clerk. Sorry, sometimes I give Kim a German accent, even though it's supposed to be French. I'm just not good with a French accent. What can I say? I know, like, I'm super French as fuck, but oui, oui, mon Dieu! I cannot do a French accent! I think if you try to do a field autopsy and you have enough hours in the day... Shit, okay, so the Freet is closed. Shit. That's what I get for waiting until 2 p.m. to take care of this. There's a door here. Can I open it? No. Can I get into this building? No. Ass! Well, let's head to the south side of town real quick. An ancient fountain. Doesn't pump water anymore. There's a tree in it. I see. Tire tracks leading onto the roof. The slush and rain has almost washed them off. Ooh! A dumpster. Oh. A sewer grate. A gateway to the river of filth. Hey, fingerless hobo gloves. Give me that electrochemistry. Huh. Butter sign down. Water lock out of order until Wednesday, 7:15 a.m. A crumpled billboard reading Samaran butter soaks in the canal. Two ugly lines mar the bright countenance of the blonde boy depicted. The sign of the billboard has fallen on the water lock, keeping it open, and thus out of order. What is Samaran butter? Whatever it is, the boy on the billboard seems very excited about it. Goat milk butter. The Samaran terrain makes it easier to raise goats than cows, and the local goat farmers produce high-quality meat and dairy staples that add variety to other nations' diets. It's an acquired taste. Visual calculus. Attempt to reconstruct the scene. Judging by the size of the impact and the parallel lines of burnt rubber, the cause was probably a motor vehicle. These look like the same tire tracks I saw earlier in front of the whirling in rags. It's strange that visual calculus refers to himself as I. Look at the crater. Side slip marks indicate that the vehicle was traveling at 35 kilometers per hour. Roof of the shack. The black marks on the roof indicates that the vehicle vaulted from the crater to the roof of the shack. Sloping metal roof panel. The panel served as a takeoff ramp. Broken posts. The vehicle soared through the air, hitting the billboard and upsetting the posts. Then it continued its flight, taking the billboard with it. Look at the sign. That sign's broke and the vehicle's fallen into the canal. The Samaran butter billboard still looks freshly painted, suggesting it took the plunge recently, within the past 72 hours. And the opposite bank. Still speeding, the vehicle made a loop and vanished into the fog along the scene. What was the model of this phantom vehicle? There are two candidates, the Capri 40 and the Linnea G22. Capri 40? It's about the right size, and the tire marks look like they came from the skinny tires frequently found on the motor carriage. The Capri 40 is a very popular model with the bank clerks, topping pie deliveries, drivers, secondary school teachers, cops, strippers dressed as cops, undressed strippers. Why the Linnea G22? More sturdy but light motor carriage, more likely than most to survive that jump. The Linnea G22 was not a particularly popular model due to its peculiar proportions, which the manufacturer's design team probably thought about for too long. What now? You'd have to follow the tracks to be sure. Lieutenant looks on, waiting for you to wrap up your analysis.
Any theories about what happened?
It looked like someone was in a real hurry. Reckless traffic hooliganism. I think it was a Capri 40. That's quite likely from what I can tell. I have some ideas about who it could have been. It was probably someone dangerous. Had to be someone really cool and courageous. I suppose that narrows it down somewhat. Fortunately, we're not traffic cops. Should we get back to the murder? We should bring this driver to justice, if we must. Alright. It's time for a Hail Mary. Considering I got Art Cop super early, I'm going to have a glut of experience points. So, I'm going to raise my perception one more time and try to examine that body. And try to copy that body. I don't have anything that raises perception, do I? I doubt it. I don't think I could. Nope. Tell me something, dead man. At the autopsy, you said you have ancient mysteries. Oh yes, Cabo mi lobo. In the gift horse's mouth tracks of wakes and waterways, ancient materials buried. But to where, my brother? Just a small gulp away, my beloved Cabo. A small gulp away. Look in the mouth! Ass! You really ought to wait until the cadaver is refrigerated. Digging around in this mess now is proving hopelessly difficult. Shit. Let the lieutenant take the body away without further examination. We can't get access to a fridge. The night has defeated us. If you think so, I'm not going to object. Oh well, in another lifetime. I mean, there's something in his mouth. Once the body has been properly processed, we'll be able to figure out what happened. But until then, we're just not gonna know. Alright, that'll do it for this episode of Disco Elysium. Ass! I was too good. I was too good a detective. Alright, next time we will turn in for the night. But until then, I'm gonna go collect all the bottles in town. Woo!